So first we will do one experiment which is not included in our syllabus, but that is required for performing the remaining experiments. So in C there is one concept of a function, and there are two methods to pass a parameter to the function. That is, one is call by value and second is call by reference. So in this today's experiment we will see these two techniques. That is, title of our experiment is passing parameters to a function using first call by value and second call by reference. Now before going to the experiment, first you should know the basic programming constructs in C. So these are the prerequisites. Basic programming construct means how to define a variable, how to declare a variable, how to store a value in variable, how to display a value of a variable using printf. So these are the some prerequisites which are required to perform this experiment. Now objective of this experiment is to learn methods of passing a parameter to a function in C language. So this is our objective, and after performing this experiment, the expected output is a student will be able to apply the techniques, that is call by value and call by reference methods, for passing parameter to a function. So student will be able to write a program using these techniques. So this is the expected outcome. Okay. Now before directly writing a program, first we will look some basic theory behind this experiment. So function. Now what is a function? So there are two types of functions in a C language. That is, one is standard library functions which are already defined, and second one is the user defined function, okay, which are written by the user, that is the programmer. Okay. Now function means it is a separate block of a program which will perform a specific task. So the role of a function is specific, it will perform that task only, and that particular block of a code or program is called as a function. Now in this diagram you can see there are two functions. One is calling function and another is a called function. Okay. Now suppose calling function requires some activity or some task that is to be performed, and that task is written inside this called function. Okay. Calling function requires some task which is to be performed, and that particular task is written inside a called function. So what our program should do? Our program should call this function. Program should call this function inside a calling function. Okay. That's why the names are given as calling function and called function. So this particular function is calling this second function. That's why it is called as called function. Now whatever parameters, that is values, we are going to use inside the calling function are called as actual parameters, and whatever values or variables which are going to be used in a called function are called as formal parameters. Okay, actual parameters and formal parameters. Now when a function is called, then parameters are passed to this function. So when you call this function, then while calling the function some values or some parameters are passed. Then these parameters, they are accepted by the second function, that is called function. Then those parameters are stored inside formal parameters. Then some logic or some operations are performed on the formal parameters, some result is generated, and then that result is returned to the calling function. So it is a give and take mechanism. Okay. So calling function is passing a parameter and call function is returning some parameter. So this is give and take. Okay. Now for example, suppose there is a main function and there is a separate user defined function called add function. Okay, now this add function will do only addition of two numbers. It will do addition of two integer numbers. That is the task which is performed by this add function. Okay, now suppose inside the main function there are two parameters or two variables, that is x and y, and values of those parameters are x is equal to 10 and y is equal to 20. Now this main function needs addition of x and y. Main function has to do addition of x and y. Okay, now that addition logic is already written inside this add function. Okay, so what our program should do now? Main function should call add function. So main function will call a add function. Now how it will call add function? It will call like this: add in bracket x comma y. Then this means that add function is called here, and x and y are the passed parameters. X and y are passed to the add function. And what is this z? So this z is for accepting a parameter which will be returned by the add function, right? So first what will happen, this x is equal to 10, y equal to 20, and after that add function will be called. Add function will pass x and y. This calling will pass x and y value to the add function. So x and y are now passed inside the add function. Now when these values come inside add function, they are stored inside the formal parameters. Means x will be stored inside a variable and y will be stored inside a b variable. So what will be the value of a now? A will be 10 and b will be 20, because a is now taking a value of x and b is now taking a value of y. So a will become 10 and b will become 20. Alright. Now then this add function will do the addition of a and b. See, now there is no x and y, there is only a, b and c. There is no x, y, z inside this add function. X, y, z was up to main function only. When they are when we come to the add function, they are now a, b and c. Okay, so a is nothing but copy of x, b is nothing but copy of y. Okay, so a plus b, that is 10 plus 20, 30, and that 30 is stored inside the c variable. Okay, so there are three variables inside the main function and three separate variables inside a add function. These three variables are x, y and z for main function, and for add function they are a, b and c. Okay, so these are the 6 separate variables. There are 6 separate variables. Okay, now c is now 30, so return this c. So what will be written? C, value of c, and what is it? 30. So 30 will be written and it is stored inside a z variable. Now why inside the z variable? Because we have called a function like this: z equal to add in bracket x comma y. Z equal to add in bracket x comma y. So whatever value is written by this add function, that will be stored inside a z variable. Okay, so in this example, what is the value that is written? It is 30. So that 30 is stored inside a z variable, and then we display a value of z, that is 30. So what we did inside this, there was a main function. Main function has to add x and y. So how that addition is performed? It is not performed inside the main function. It is performed by a function called add. So what main function has did? Main function has called this add function. Okay, and while calling the add function, main function passes x and y to add function. Then that x and y is copied inside a and b respectively. Then a and b are added. Result is 30. It is stored inside c, and then c is written and it is stored inside a z, and then display a value of z inside a main function. Okay, so the requirement was for the main function. Main function has to do the addition, but main function has not done the addition by itself. He has taken a help of add function. Okay, and how it has taken the help of add function? By calling it. See, this is the statement which calls add function, and while calling, the main function has passed x and y. Okay, and after addition, add function has returned a value c. Okay, so this is one example of call function by another function. Okay, now what we are now one more thing, there are two methods to pass parameter to a function. One is call by value and another is call by reference. Call by value and call by reference. It is also called as passing parameter by value or passing parameter by reference. Okay, call by or passing by, these are one and the same. Now, call by value means value of actual parameter is passed to a function. So what is passed? Value of what? Actual parameter. So that method is called as call by value. And call by reference means address of actual parameter is passed to a function. What is passed? Address. Now what is this value and address? Now previously we have seen, let's see, I will show here. Just a minute. Suppose this is a memory. Let's say for example, this is a memory. Now inside this memory there is one small variable. Let's say for example, name of this variable is for example a. Okay, then 10 is the value of a. Okay, and $1,000. For example, 1,000. So 1,000 is the address of this a. So a is the name of variable, 10 is the value of variable, and 1,000 is the address of variable. Name of variable, value of variable, and address of variable. Okay, so what is inside call by value? In call by value, this 10 will be passed, and in call by reference, this 1,000 will be passed. So call by value and call by reference. Okay, so what we will do in this experiment now, we will use one function and we will give a name to the function as modify. Okay, there will be a function called modify, and obviously there will be one main function. Now there will be one parameter, that is x, inside a main function, and inside a modify function there will be formal parameter, that is a. So x is the actual parameter inside main function and a is the formal parameter inside a modify function. Okay, now this modify function will do only one task, and that is increase the value by 5. Increase a value of a variable by 5. That is the only task that will be performed by modify. See, in previous example there was addition function, and what it was doing? It was doing the addition of two values, a plus b. But now what this modify function is doing? It is only increasing the value by 5. So for example, suppose there is a value a, then a plus 5. So by how much it is increased? By 5. So that is the only task that will be done by modify function. Okay, now in call by value, we call a function like this, modify in bracket x, modify in bracket x. Now what this statement means? This statement means call a function modify, and while calling this function pass a value that is x to the function. Okay, so now x will be passed. Now x means what? Value of x, and what is it? 10. So 10 is passed inside this function. Then this 10 is copied inside a variable, because a is the formal parameter which is going to be a copy of x. Okay, so now a will become 10. Then this function will begin. So this addition will take place, that is a equal to a plus 5. So 10 plus 5, 15. So now a will become 15. Now this function, that is modify function, is a void function. This function is a void function. This function is now void function. Now void function means what? The function which does not return any value is called as void function. Void means no return. This function does not return any value is called as void function. Okay, so modify function is a void function, so no return value. So again we will revise. See, main function is started, actual parameter x is equal to 10, so 10 gets stored inside x. Then call modify function by a statement modify x, then x will be passed, it will be stored inside a, then a is increased by 5, a becomes 15, and there is no return value. So nothing is written, only program control is given back to main function. Now remaining part of main function will be executed. And what is remaining part? Display value of x. Now what will be get printed? What we are going to print? Value of x. And what is the? It is 10 only, because that 15 is not get stored inside x. 15 gets stored inside a only, because we have not written any value. Okay, so a will become 15, but x will remain 10. It will remain as it is. And what will be output on the screen? It will be 10. Okay, so what we observed here, there are two things. In first thing, in call by value, we pass value of a variable or value of a parameter. Value means we pass 10. We pass this value 10. Okay, and when there is a change on a formal parameter inside a called function, there is a change on a formal parameter inside a called function, means we have changed a value of a now. We have increased it by 5, but that change remains only on formal parameter. It is not reflected on actual parameter. Means even though we change a value of formal parameter, that is a, the value of actual parameter, that is x, remain unchanged. X value does not change. Okay, so that is the second observation. First observation, value of actual parameter is passed, and second observation or second conclusion from this call by value technique is, when we modify or change a value of formal parameter, that change does not occur on actual parameter. Actual parameter remains unchanged. It remains the same. That's why value of x does not change. It remains 10 only, and that is printed. So that was called by value technique. Okay, see, we will see this in program also. Now second technique is called by reference. So call by reference means what? We pass address of actual parameter. Instead of value, we pass address. So sequence is same. Main function starts, actual parameter is declared, it becomes 10, that is 10 gets stored inside x. Now call modify function. But now how it is called now? It is called as modify in bracket and x. See the change, see the difference. In call by value, what we have written? Modify in bracket x. And in call by reference, what we have written? Modify in bracket and x. So difference is x, and here and x. So here and x means address of x. This and stands for this symbol ampersand. It stands for address. So address of x, and what is address of x? 1000. So what is passed now? 1000 is passed. So it is not 10, it is now 1000. So this 1000 is passed. Sorry, this 1000 is passed, and it is stored inside the variable a. Now in this particular function, this a is storing the address of x. A stores address of x, and the variable which stores address of another variable is called as pointer. So a must be a pointer, and what is its value? 1000. So value of pointer a is now 1000. Now we have did the same thing, increase a value by 5. So what we have written? Star a equal to star a plus 5. Now what this line means? Star a means value at a. This star means value at, and a means 1000. So if you simplify this, it is value at 1000 plus 5. And what is value at 1000? 10. Value at 1000 means 10, and plus 5 means 10 plus 5. So how much it is? 15. So this 15 gets stored inside a value at 1000. See it clearly. What we have written, value at 1000 is equal to value at 1000 plus 5. So what we are doing here, we are increasing a value at 1000, at an address 1000 by how much? 5. So indirectly we are changing a value of this x. We are changing the value of this x only, right? Because x means what? Value of x. Okay, and value at 1000 means what? Again it is value of x. See, this is one and the same. See, if you write x means 10, and if you write like this, value at address 1000 means also x. Okay, so this x indicates 10, and value at 1000, it also indicates the same, that is 10. Okay, so one is identifying a value by its name, by the name of variable, and second way is the identifying or calling that value by its address. Okay, now see, for example, if you are in a class, suppose there is one student in a class, name of the student is Sachin, for example, and Sachin is sitting at bench number 5, for example, bench number 5, and he is the only person that is on the bench number 5. Now if I called Sachin, come here, so to whom I am calling? I am calling to Sachin. Okay, and in the second way I will call a student on batch number 5, come here, so who will come? Again Sachin. So in first method I am calling Sachin by his name, right, and in second method I am calling Sachin but indirectly. Indirectly means by a bench number, means by address, right? Sachin means that particular student, and student at bench number 5, it also means that particular student. So both are one and the same. So same analogy is here. If you call it as x, it is 10, and if you call value at 1000, means also it is 10. So what we are doing here, we are increasing the value at 1000, and value at 1000 means x. So we are indirectly changing the value of x. So when you write this statement star a equal to star a plus 5, indirectly value of x becomes 15. Okay, and again there is no return value, so value is not written, and then display value of x. But now what will be get displayed? 15. Why? Because due to this statement value of x is increased by 5. Previously it was 10, and after this statement it will become 15. Okay,